Be strong.
What up? Welcome back.
We've made it.
We're here. Roster
This
the
game's gonna be
people.
awesome.
So glad that I have errands to run after we're done with this and I don't have to watch it. Oh, it's the best news I've ever heard. Oh, it's great. Roster the people. Week 14. We're here. Welcome in, folks. Final week of the fantasy regular season, and not a moment too soon. I will continue to apologize to anyone who this is your first year playing fantasy. I'm sorry. This is not. It's normally not this bad. It's usually bad, but it's not this bad. This is a whole other animal.
You might lose one, maybe two if you're in like a rut. This is just a massacre of everybody who's a fantasy player of relevance, it feels like.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. It's big bad. It's really, really ugly. What up, Daniel?
Hey, Daniel.
All right. All right, Nightmare. Well, I have Breece Hall rated ahead of Warren still, despite the weird injury situation going on. The problem is Warren is losing share to Harris. And Harris is playing tonight. And it's a terrible matchup because the only saleable part of the Patriots is their defense. And their run defense is not a good matchup. They have given up something like the 10th fewest rushing yards to opposing running backs over the last 5 weeks. So it's a short week. It's not a good matchup, and you're dealing with a guy in a timeshare. I know Breece Hall has been underwhelming. It would help me to know if this was PPR. But
that definitely puts Warren ahead then, because I think that he should see more targets. I don't know. Do you trust Zach Wilson?
I don't trust any of it. I don't trust them to give Warren enough targets or snaps to outpace Warren, who, if he plays, will get the entire workload. So, ugly as it is, if it's PPR, Breece Hall is still putting up double-digit fantasy points every week. If it's standard, it's actually worse. Because if it's standard, he's putting up 5s, and then I'd rather deal with Warren because there's an off chance that Warren falls into the end zone or catches enough passes to just get 50 receiving yards. So it kind of hurts. So what I would rather do is I'd probably stick with Hall. But what I'd want to do is I'd want to know what I need to know what your backup plans are, and I need to know what format you're playing in. That would really help me. But I really don't want to play Warren over Hall with the level of information that I'm being provided. Okay, half point PPR.
Still think I go Warren there then. Any kind of PPR, man. I want that upside, and I think Warren still provides it more than Hall.
I disagree because you're with Warren, you're praying like hell that something either guy, you're praying that it's just one big play that pays you off for the whole night.
Well, it's also the Texans' defense. That's who the Jets are playing, and that's a tough one to run into. I know the Patriots also are doing the same thing, but it's more the fact that Warren has that explosive play as well as the pass catching, which, don't get me wrong, I think Hall does somewhat, but I don't know. I just think that with Wilson coming back, he's going to want to show that he's a better passer than everybody else.
I think there's a lot of narrative baked into what you just said. So what I would recommend here, let me double check something. Okay. So in my half point PPR rankings, I have Hall 3 spots ahead still, even in half point. So that's my answer to you.
Yeah.
Jason disagrees. He says you should play Warren. Do with this information what you will. I
apologize.
I apologize. There was no consensus in that, but there you go. Tyquan Thornton Knight or Kareem Hunt. Oh God. Ew. Kareem Hunt. And I hate it.
Yeah, because he's also been dealing with an injury already. I think he was limited, and then that was somebody else. I think he's been limited both days.
I'm double checking.
Yeah. Which makes me kind of want to. Let's go to waivers. Can you pick somebody else from waivers? Because I'd much prefer that.
Kareem Hunt is questionable. He did not practice Wednesday. He did get some work in today.
Okay. Yeah, that makes me.
I do not want to play Tyquan Thornton. So I would
Yeah,
much rather deal with I'm literally going through my flex rankings and I'm going to have to like control F it. That's how far down you have to scroll. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to play Kareem Hunt over Tyquan Thornton.
Like I said, I still think you need to go to the waivers. That could really help you here.
Waivers is not a bad option in this case. Do not play Tyquan Thornton tonight. Let's look at the waiver wire and then we can take a look at that here as we move along. Thornton, Aaron Jones, Ford, Mingo, pick 2.
What is it with Thornton? There must have been some breaking news or something.
Wait, hang on. I have to start Ford. So Thornton, Aaron, or Mingo. I'd rather deal with either Aaron or Mingo. I'm not playing Thornton tonight. Okay.
I am not trusting Aaron Jones again.
I don't care. I trust, even with that, I don't trust. I will not play Tyquan Thornton tonight. So anybody who's going to have Tyquan Thornton questions, the answer is no.
Yeah, we're going. That's a home DFS maybe.
I have Tyquan Thornton at 165 in my flex rankings. Do you have any idea how bad that is? Like it's really bad. Let's see. Hubbard, Warren, Singletary.
Pick 2.
No, I think it's pick 1. Because it's written in a very confusing manner.
No, pretty sure that. Oh.
Yeah. There's no semicolons, Daniel.
Okay. So it's just one of them?
I think it's 1.
Then I'm probably going Hubbard.
Because I don't think either Walker or Charbonnet plays.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play Hubbard. Okay.
And if you're chasing upside, it's Warren.
Okay, stop panicking. You have 5 minutes. It's Hubbard, and don't play anyone tonight. Panicking is always the wrong call. Panicking is never, whatever the situation is, panicking is always wrong. Full PPR, wide receiver 2, and flex. So pick 2.
Wilson Sutton.
Yeah, Wilson Sutton. And if something happens, I'll probably pivot to DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah.
We're actually on the same page on that one. Hey, Tony.
Yeah, for a change. Full PPR. Need 2. Achane, Swift, Montgomery, Zeke, Hall.
Achane and Zeke?
Achane and Montgomery for me, I think. I know Zeke's getting the full. I get the question. I know Zeke's getting the full workload, and it's a good matchup. So a lot of people are predicting a huge game for Zeke tonight.
Predicting.
If you wanted to play, the only one I feel really confident in this list is Achane. I'm eliminating Swift and Hall from this conversation entirely. So it's Achane really? For sure, and then Swift has been terrible ever since.
Yeah. That one I'm not surprised in, but the Hall one I was more surprised.
The Hall one is he's nicked up, and you've got better choices in this case. So I would say it's Achane for sure, and then it's down to Montgomery and Zeke. If you're looking for upside, and you need real upside, you need a home run, play Zeke tonight. You have 4 minutes. Play Zeke tonight if you have a
I like him because it's PPR, and I think he actually sees a lot more usage than Montgomery does in that area.
Yeah, the problem is that it's a floor situation because it's Zeke and he's been terrible, and even with good usage, he's not averaging well. He's not been efficient. So the question that I had, so my issue is here. I'd rather play Montgomery with half the job against the Bears because the Bears suck. And I feel like I know what I'm getting.
Better against running backs.
Nah, to a point, but it's still the Bears. It's still the Bears. You could just default back to that. So I'll tell you the way I'd answer this question is the way I would do it is I would rather play Montgomery because I know what I'm getting. But if you need a home run because you're trying to clinch a playoff spot, it's the last week. If you're playing for a seed or something like that, I understand the temptation to want to play Zeke. I have Montgomery at 16. I have Zeke as a back end RB2. So I feel better about playing Montgomery. I know what I'm getting. Whereas Zeke is I hope he gets the whole job, and I hope he doesn't suck, and I hope he manages to outplay the Steelers defense. A lot of questions. Like it's a good matchup, but that's about as far as it goes. All right. Daniel, I would rather go to the waiver wire. Like if Aaron Jones is inactive, I would rather end up going to the waiver wire than dealing with Tyquan Thornton tonight. The only way with Tyquan Thornton, you could literally get a 0. Like there's things on the waiver wire that I'd rather deal with. Zeke or Ford, PPR, we got to go fast.
Oh my gosh, I have Ford higher.
So do I, actually. So
do that what you will.
Yeah, Ford. I would probably play Ford. Warren or Zeke?
Zeke. Full job. That's what really is saving it. I mean,
yeah, I agree. Bad matchup in some ways, but I'd rather play Zeke and play the guy who has the full job. Because the NFL does not operate on reason. Daniel is the answer to this question.
Ooh, this is a good one.
Harris, Jones, or Pierce?
Oh. Pierce?
Yeah. No. Najee Harris. Najee Harris is my answer.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm just so nervous about him getting beat
Pierce
up.
is trash and Jones isn't playing. So I'd rather play Najee Harris considering he actually has been leaned in here.
What the heck?
Yeah, play Zeke, OJ. OJ, you're there. You got it.
Yes, I got it. Wait, did I just screw that up? No, I didn't. Okay.
We got there. We covered it. We got it in. It's Zeke.
Sorry, I was just putting in the bet with Pittsburgh with the money line, Zeke anytime touchdown, and Deontay over 45.5 receiving yards.
Yeah, there you go, Raider. You made it. Full send. This question came in after the fact, so you did not quite make it, Joe Sizzle. I'm sorry.
It would be Hall though. Anyway.
Yeah, and it would be Hall.
Mostly, I like Ridley, but the weather has me so nervous for that game.
Less worried about the weather and more worried about the fact that he's going to be getting bracket covered the entire night. And I'm predicting, to the extent that pass catchers matter in that game, it's going to be Evan Ingram is who I want to play. I want to play that. I want to play Ingram.
Etienne.
Well, Etienne's not a pass catcher, Jason. Well, he is in a sense, but he's mostly a running back.
Catching passes.
You know what I mean? God damn it! Like, you want to play this crappy semantic game with me, and we haven't even started. All right. What up, Polo? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Polo.
What up, Nibs? Okay. I think we covered it.
Yeah, guys.
We did.
Definitely do. I'm so excited.
Yeah, we made it. We made it. We got there. All right. Well, good luck tonight. Good luck.
You like for tonight?
What?
You have any bets you liked for tonight?
No, and I don't really bet in that way, as you know.
I was just asking. There.
The only bets I get into typically are the things that I find out from Mason and Vishal that are dead set locks, and then obviously I bet on the Super Bowl. But usually it's all on the stupid bets, like how many times will they air the commercial for the lead-in show after the Super Bowl? Because that's free money. That's just free money on the ground because they always set that line wrong. So I bet on things I have control over to an extent. I'm not the kind of guy who goes to the poker tables, that goes to Vegas and bets on like roulette. I play cards. I bet on things that I have a certain level of I can affect a certain amount of control over. That's why I prefer playing traditional fantasy as opposed to betting. Betting is out of your control. There are certain things that you could the lines get set wrong, and there's things like that in the background. But no, I don't deal with that.
Deontay Johnson, 45.5 receiving yards, is the line tonight.
Okay.
That's too low.
Is it? Like it's
with Trubisky, yeah. I would not be surprised if he doesn't get double-digit targets.
I really don't think
Cooper's gonna make it.
Oh Lord, that didn't take long. Well, that's fun. Well, I'm glad everybody played Zeke. That makes that a little easier. Yeah, I think you're probably playing downs here because Amari Cooper has got a really long road to getting back to playing in this game.
You should see if you can't pick up more. I'd play more.
Yeah, maybe. I would probably prefer that over Downs, but Downs is interesting at least. Although he's been not great the last couple weeks. So
he's been for fantasy, he's been fine.
No, a 4 is not fine.
It's fine.
No, it isn't.
You
and I have very different definitions of fine.
He's still seeing targets.
No, well, they're all scratched and dented and
still
horrible.
counts. It's a target.
No, not
baby.
really.
If you can actually,
I've had this argument with you for how many years? I like the targets that came from Mitch Trubisky count. There are half what they count. You could get 20 Mitch Trubisky targets and 10 Patrick Mahomes targets, and I'll take 10 Patrick Mahomes targets because those will be somewhere near where they're supposed to go. The 20 Mitch Trubisky targets is going to hit the guy selling peanuts in the stands on 5 of them, so they don't count. Like, you got to know what you're looking at getting into. Dang. What are you reacting to? I feel
Juju just took a long bomb.
Oh, nice of him to do something finally for this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice of him to show up finally.
This is going to be the game for him, I guess.
What a mess.
Hey,
what's
Dan.
up, Daniel?
Depends on what you want here. I think I'm going Cooks.
Yeah, I'm going Cooks on that.
Just because I think he's more likely to score, and that should be a higher scoring game.
Cooks has been more involved consistently. I know Noah Brown's been hurt, but go with me here. Noah Brown has had 2 good games all year. I know those are the 2 games that Tank Dell didn't play. But that's a lot to ask for that to happen a third time. Like
it's also the matchup for Collins.
It's not a great matchup.
So that's why I like Brown is a good idea, especially if Schultz, who popped back up as he was limited yesterday.
I don't think
did not practice today.
I don't think Schultz is playing this week again.
He got downgraded again. So that's the only kind of hope you have for Brown right now. And they're going to have to pass.
So Nico or Rice, and he's going to play Cooks, it looks like. So you can play.
Going to make both C's, baby. Going Collins and Cooks here. Yikes.
Yeah. That's the upside play for sure. I would play Nico. The question is, do you want to play? Do you play Rice in the flex, or do you go with Cooks? That's the real question here. Because the Bills' secondary has been terrible.
Yeah.
Because I would play Nico.
It really depends on what you need.
Yeah. Again. I would play Nico. The question that I have would be flexing Brandon Cooks here.
Yeah. That's an upside play.
Yeah. Because Rice has got a lot higher floor. A lot higher. Because Cooks, you're looking at like the floor is like a 4. And Rice, the floor is like 10. But the ceiling for Rice is like 15.
I was going to say 8, but yeah.
The ceiling for Rice is like 15. 16 technically with the touchdown.
There you go.
And then Brandon Cooks' ceiling is like in the 20s. So that's the issue here. I feel like I'll do it the legit way. Give me a second.
Yeah, I was just about to do the same thing. Cooks. Whoa, get that out of here. Cook's best game this year was a 23.3.
Yeah, but I'm just going by my rankings to answer this. Yeah.
And Rice's best game was 16.7.
I have him in this order. I have it Nico, Rice, Cooks. So that's the order I have it in. And then, yeah. So I'd play Waddle, Nico, Rice. I would leave Cooks out. There you go. Didn't take long. Juju Smith takes it down to the red zone, and then Zeke scores. So there you go.
That gets one of my things off the list already. That Zeke TD, baby. Let's go.
I work with a compulsive gambler. I work with a guy who should be in a 12-step program for like multiple things. Like he needs a 12-step program for Mountain Dew. He needs a 12-step program for gambling.
I'm not that bad. It could be worse.
Do you tell your wife what these bets are, or is that the shame? Uh, do we keep a little spreadsheet or a little piece of paper on the fridge that has the pluses and minuses of where we are for the year?
Not a thing.
Uh-huh. So
Not even.
no and no is the answer.
It's all fake money. That's how it works.
Guys, we're going to have an intervention for Jason. So, Jason, your addictions
It's
have
rough
impacted
right now.
me in the following ways. You're not focused on the show we're trying to do
Oh yeah.
because of your vices.
Going to go Minshew. But I like the idea of Browning.
Double checking something. Yeah, I have it as Minshew. It's only 2 spots though.
Yeah, with Browning, right?
And I'm not entertaining Lawrence.
I'm like nervous.
I know he's been playing better, but I know.
Well, and CJ also has an issue with his shoulder. So that was the other thing I saw. Limited both days.
I'm gonna play Minshew here, but it's really close between Minshew and Browning. Browning was actually low key impressive. Not trying to.
Yeah, he was definitely moving that ball a lot better than
I didn't even read all of this. I just read the first part of it. Our money, comrade. Our money. The hell did you work that out? I am like 6'3". I don't know how you work that out. In the background, just from me being on. I'm sitting down, and I would stand up, but I'm not wearing pants.
per usual.
I never wear pants for this. What are you talking about? This made me laugh. How the hell did you work that out? Yeah, I'm like 6'3". And I have a really long arm, which doesn't work on camera. Jason's 4'5". Carry him around like Yoda. Oh yeah, and that's like a bar table. That's not a normal table. That's like a bar table. Yeah, no, I'm like 6'3". Well, it's the camera, I assume, that he's got hidden in my house. No, I'm one of those people that hates plane travel because every year we lose another like eighth of an inch to the airline company. And at this point, I swear, I get in a coach seat and my knees are hitting the back of it just sitting there. So I love when people try to like put their seat back because I just put my arm forward and you ain't putting that seat back. And then what happens is they assume the seat is broken. So they turn around and they see what's going on and they see me doing this and my knees are already in the chair and I'm just waving like, hi, you're not taking this seat back. Like, that's literally not happening. And then they scowl at me and I'm like, you want to do something about it? Like, and then nobody ever does because they don't want to meet the Sky Marshal. Like, nobody wants to meet the Sky Marshal. That's the way that is. I'm still laughing at this because I don't even know what I got to tell you, I don't know what Pioneer Woman is, but it sounds expensive.
I think it's a cooking show person.
Oh, it might be. I'm just laughing at like our money, comrade.
I got really into that for a while.
Like,
and I was
this
like,
is our money, comrade. Like, yes, that is also true. That is also true. We don't talk about that. We did have an actual question somewhere in here. Keaton or Roshan? I like Keaton.
Mostly because of the weather.
And a little bit of that, a little bit more of Donta Foreman actually practicing. Kind of not great. My only issue with Keaton Mitchell is the red zone work. He still hasn't quite gotten that yet.
That's still Edwards' job.
Who won now?
That's still Edwards' job.
Oh yeah, that's the thing he retains exactly. Flowers, Davis, Ridley. Ooh, go to my rankings.
Yeah, I don't like any of them.
I got to go to my rankings for that question.
I think it's Flowers.
Flowers is what I remember setting. Let me see.
Flowers.
Yeah.
Nope. Oh, didn't.
Yeah. C. It is Flowers.
Yep.
And best of luck, Joe Sizzle, because I got a couple of them in their games like that myself.
Who the heck didn't activate anybody? Huh.
All right. Ooh, boy. That's a real question. That's a man's question.
Again.
That's a man's question.
Mingo's the safer play.
Yeah, I have it. I have it as Mingo. Mingo is the safer play. I have him like 5 spots higher.
I have him.
She has her own cook. Oh, it's a cookware thing. Okay. Okay. 5-7-1. Do you not do decimal scoring? You got to get decimal scoring, man. Get them ties out of there. We had that problem in a couple leagues I played in a couple years ago, and implementing decimal scoring took that away. Now, it isn't technically possible. You could still get a decimal tie. And if you did, I would love to know, because that is incredibly rare. That's like a unicorn event. I don't believe you, Anthony. I don't believe you. I'm convinced that Anthony runs some sort of like restaurant depot out of his garage, where he's got like the Showtime grill and old George Foreman's and whatever Pioneer woman is. And I firmly believe that Anthony is in like the restaurant business, or runs a restaurant depot, like cookware type of like resale thing out of his garage. I don't know if you know what Restaurant Depot is, Jason. I actually live right next to one. It's a big store where restaurants go to buy cookware, kitchen appliances, cutlery, things like that. It is always freaking packed in there. And it's usually a bunch of people with a bunch of crazy sleeves. Like, I've seen some tattoos in there that, woo, man. Oh, also, if you want drugs, probably a great place to go, because it's a bunch of kitchen people. If you've ever worked in a kitchen, you know what I mean. No one who works back there is sober. No one.
Having them vices.
See, I know who I'm talking to. Oh, wait, you do coffee catering? Hit me up, dog. I got things to discuss. I'll get you them digits. We got to talk, because I got to figure out where you're located, because I might have a job for you. No, coffee catering's a real deal. We do that at my day job. They'll literally hire like coffee businesses to come in and just cater for the day. Usually like the last day of the month, because they don't want people wandering off to go to Starbucks. So they'll just bring the Starbucks to you. And I've seen what those people make, and usually just in tips, you'll have a good day. It's worth your day just in tips, because they tip cash. So usually what'll happen is they'll have like the big piano bar bowl where people will put money in, and I've literally seen people treat it like a regular bar. Well, they'll literally drop a 20 in there and be like, "Yo, I'm coming back like 5 times. Just have my drink ready." So I'm actually interested in that. So yeah, if you're at restaurant, yes, you know what Restaurant Depot is. Like, yeah, I live right next to one, man. It's actually really cool. Oh, we will absolutely do that. That's how we're gonna do the catering. Like, that's how we got to do the buffet. Because the buffet at the strip club has to have all the Buc-ee's fare, but it also has to have the Showtime grill, because that's branding for us. But it, like any strip club, it has to have lemon pepper wings. It has to have lemon pepper wings. If it doesn't have lemon pepper wings, it's not a strip club. I don't want to. That's not my original idea. That's Rick Ross. He pioneered that idea. But if you notice, it's taken off like crazy. That's why Wingstop even has lemon pepper wings now, because it's a strip club staple. Don't ask me how I know this information. I'm not on trial. I'm not explaining this. Like,
that idea is just gross to me.
Which idea? There were a couple gross ideas.
Well, lemon pepper wings.
Okay,
like, it doesn't sound.
I'm sorry. He's this opinion. This man does not speak for important nonsense, and his slander of lemon pepper wings. I had to cut his mic, folks. I'm sorry. Like that. Okay. Did we learn a lesson about slandering lemon pepper wings on the show?
Not a fan.
It's delicious. You've lost your mind.
Mango habanero. That's more my style.
You can't have mango habanero at the strip club. What are you gonna get nasty? Are you gonna get nasty like super burny sauce all over everything, sir? You're the kind of Jason's the kind of guy who wears a hat to a strip club.
I wear a hat everywhere.
Really poor, like super poor titty bar etiquette. Like just like super poor titty bar etiquette, sir. Like, see, Anthony understands. He works in the restaurant industry. He knows what I'm talking about. Like that's like, and yes, we will set up the Showtime grill at the strip club at the Bucky. That is 100% what we're doing. Might be a little loud. We might have to turn the music up some. See, even Daniel knows what I'm talking about. Like Restaurant Depot is a real deal. That's an actual thing. Like
I
it's.
don't get the hypothermia.
I don't either. Actually, he might have got thrown. He might have had water thrown at him. We will do our job and answer a fantasy question here. By the way, real quick. You can always tell how good the game is. By the way, because no one's watching that game clearly because they're entertaining us with this. All right. Achon, Jacobs, Kyron Williams, Hall, Singletary. Pick two.
Well, it's going to be
Achon and Williams, I would think.
Yeah, I just don't like the matchup for Williams. It's the only thing.
Yeah, but it's the volume.
You could say that about Jacobs.
Tasty volume. Yeah, I'd eliminate Hall and Singletary, so we could just scratch that off. You're really discussing the top three choices there. Let me double check something.
Yeah, I'm trying to
double check something here. What was the scoring format? PPR? Okay. Good.
It's still, yeah, it's going to be.
I have
Williams,
Jacobs and Williams literally right next to each other.
Yeah.
I do concede Baltimore is not great.
The only thing that helps is the rain. Like, it's supposed to be bad, and if they're both running and Williams gets some pass catching as the guy closest and healthy, the one that's healthy, like that's
I had Jacobs one spot higher. I get this question. It's a serious coin flip.
Yeah.
I'll stick to my rankings. It's Achon and Jacobs. Come back on Sunday, Daniel, with this question because I might adjust my rankings between then and now based on the weather report. I normally don't do it. I don't read too much into the weather. The weather's not really a good gauge of how you should do rankings because we've had you have a lot of crap, man. I could cherry pick examples all day long about how that goes.
Well, you also need to actually you have to be able to see what's going on. If you can see the rain, that's more of an issue. If you can see the snow and it's sticking, like,
See,
me too.
There you go, Anthony.
Oh.
So there you go. No, he gets a contract for a space. I know exactly how this business works. At least I think I do because I've seen this business a lot. So you contract out for a space. Usually it's within a business, or it could be in a different thing, but like it's usually like a pop-up type of deal. So they'll come in early, they'll get set up before people come in. In my experience, it's usually a corporate environment. So you'll have like they'll set you up in like a conference room or a break room or something, and they'll literally let you get set up. You come in the morning, and then what'll happen is they don't charge the people that are there anything. They work out a flat fee, typically on the front end, and then so they get paid to work the day. Basically, they get I don't know what the amount of money is. It's X. We'll call it X amount of money, and then at whatever space they'll come in the morning, get set up, and then they're basically working for tips outside of that. But when you're working a corporate gig, which is the way I'm most familiar with it, don't get between those corporate people and their coffee. They will straight up tip you. Like they'll just start dropping 20s in there because they know they're coming back. You know what I mean? So if Anthony's just going to sit there and make you lattes and macchiatos and whatever else all day, and they'll usually have like specialty drinks they'll do, and they'll bring the big rack of syrup flavorings, and they'll basically just work the whole morning. And then they'll work that out, and then that's usually how that goes. And then the tips is all cash under the table. But I've seen those people walking out of there counting money where they're stacking like there's a lot of 20s in that tip jar. There's a lot of 20s where they're sitting there like there's a couple $100 at least, and that was for working like half a day. So even if you're paying the baristas $20 an hour, and I don't know where Anthony lives, if I'm being perfectly honest, so that rate will vary. But let's say you're paying the baristas $20 an hour. I got to imagine it's a couple grand just in the fee to make it worth his while for half the day. And then, Anthony, do you own this business or is it just something you work at? So there you go. You go in once a week, they like you, and then you come back like once a week for 6 months. A lot of places I've worked, they'll have you come in at the end of the quarter or at the end of the month, or if they're having people coming in for like leadership meetings, they'll hire people for that because it's a nice to have. It makes people feel good about themselves. It takes some of the sting about having to be like in the office and crap like that. So no, it's a real business. Like I've seen people. I mean, I don't know exactly. There you go. So I don't know how much exactly that pulls in. I got to imagine there's some volatility, but when you're talking about cash under the table, I mean, heck, you can complain too bad. Pick 2: Evans, JJ, Waddle, Adams.
JJ.
Josh Jacobs.
That's not Josh Jacobs. Justin Jefferson.
Oh yeah, it would be.
That I'm double checking. Yeah, it's definitely going to be Justin Jefferson and then Evans. Yes, Evans.
Yeah, I have those two right next to each other. Yep.
I don't have them right next to each other, but I have them close enough. Then I have Adams, and then I have Waddle.
I would do it that way. Take the first two.
Yep.
See, man of culture. Man of culture and class.
Which Carlson?
Well, it's going to be the kicker. And
there's 2.
It shows you how much I care about kicker.
It's going to be Butker, though.
Yeah, Butker. I wouldn't get cute.
It's. I think it's.
There is Anders Carlson. Look at that.
Yeah, it's his brother.
I don't play in leagues with kickers typically. I'd rather play an extra flex.
Yeah, he's a Packers kicker.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Salt Lake City's cold, and then you're cold inside. Yeah, that sounds about right. That's true. Actually, the one right by my house, they always have the air conditioning freaking bumping. But it's nuts, Jason. I'm telling you, like they do a crazy trade because it's a lot of like vans that are there, and it's people getting all the crap they need. So you'll have a lot of like restaurant vans that are parked out there, and there's people like running in and out. Like you can place an order online, but like you would need like a freaking pallet to do what they need to do for a lot of this. So, okay. Yeah, play Bucker. I have it as Bucker Polo. I think we both do. Pick 2: Walker, Mixon, Hall, Montgomery. Oh, I really don't think Walker's playing.
Yeah.
My gut.
Mixon for sure.
Then
Montgomery probably. Where do I have Hall?
Yep, Mixon and Montgomery are my 2.
Same.
Mostly because of the Hall injury.
Yep.
I see we've arrived at this now. Texans, Jets, or 49ers?
Texans.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I just remembered who they're playing. It just dawned on me. Yeah, so that's what we're doing. Okay.
Packers this week. So
pick 3: Etienne and standard. Etienne, Gus, Ford, Madison, Ridley. Well, Etienne for sure.
And Ford.
Yeah.
And Madison. Versus the Giants, baby.
I'm double checking something. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, go with that. I would normally say Ridley even in standard, but I really don't want to play Ridley because I'm just convinced he's going to get like bracket covered the whole game, and that'll leave space for Ingram to work and Etienne to work. I just don't want to play him. Of course, now that I've been saying this, and we'll say it again on Sunday, locked in 40 for Ridley. Like just lock it in. Like because I'm completely out on it. But yeah, and I don't want to play Gus because he's only getting red zone work. He's lost the other part of his job.
Yeah.
So Etienne, Ford, Madison. Weird advice, but it's true. Goddard, Schultz, Kincaid. Goddard.
Still leaning Kincaid here.
Let me see. Double check. I would feel better about this question on Sunday. Yeah, I have it as Kincaid right now. If you're asking me this question right now, and you are, on Thursday, my answer to this question is Kincaid. Ask again on Sunday when we see if Goddard actually gets cleared.
He
Full
should
practice.
be playing.
Should be full practice.
I still, even then, I'm nervous on it.
Yeah, a little bit. You don't really want to play the guy with no sample. And then standard Thielen, Gabe Davis, Higgins, and then he gave you there's a list of waiver wire options there.
Yeah, I'm going to go Elijah Moore and probably Noah or Jaden Reed.
Even with him being questionable on a
Yeah,
Monday
because then you
night.
get to pivot to Brown.
On a Monday night?
Oh, I forgot
No,
that
you
game.
can't. You need a backup plan if you're going to do that.
He'll be back on Sunday, I'm sure.
So
play Brown, then, I guess.
I don't want to play any of your original choices, really. The closest of things that I would want to play off that list would be Higgins. And even then, you're just rolling dice. You're hoping for something at that point. Because what we've seen so far with Browning is that he loves Jamar Chase. And he doesn't give a crap about anything else. And he's willing to just force feed Jamar Chase the football. I don't necessarily blame him, by the way, with that. But that's just what we're watching. Nothing else really matters. So if in a Browning world, a couple things on that. Okay, so a couple things. Browning really is locked in on Chase and Mixon. That's what he feels comfortable with, clearly. Everything else is a nicety. But he is really comfortable with Chase and Mixon. And I will also say this. The Bengals are not going to be as bad as we had originally thought. They're not going to be great. But I was predicting them to just like crash and burn when we first got this news. And no, it's not going to totally murder everything. But Chase is what you want. All right. Pick 2 PPR. Williams, Hall, Adams, Waddle.
Adams, Waddle.
To double check my flex rankings for this. Actually, I can't. It's too. Daniel's questions always throw me because they're like so near the top. It's like they're not your normal flex
Justin
questions.
Jefferson, I'm not worried about it because of the fact that they have clearly waited enough time. They were very careful about bringing him back. And Josh Dobbs is actually a pretty good quarterback. And the 3 picks he had, only one of them was actually due to him just having a poor throw. The other ones are just 2 bounced off the receiver's hands. I don't think Justin Jefferson will allow that to happen. And one of them literally just got lucky because it was a good tip that went to him. So
I have it as Williams and Waddle. Fully understanding that Ravens matchup isn't great. But all he has to do is fall in the end zone at some point. I think he can. So, and I'm eliminating the other 2. And then I'm not thrilled about Justin Jefferson in his first game back. But at a certain point, you got to go with the talent. So there is some of that going on in the background. Yep, keep going with that. No reason to change it now. Okay, Etienne, Williams, Ford, Moss. What format? Standard? This is just who's most likely to score a touchdown.
Ford Etienne.
Oh, that's flex rankings. That explains a lot. It's like I can't read. There it is. There we go. I found it.
Well, what's going on?
Reading is hard, is what's going on. Etienne and Williams. That's my answer. I know you're freaked out by that matchup. I'm less scared of it.
It's not that I'm freaked out. I like Ford's matchup more.
Feel better about it if the only person that didn't shred them was freaking Mixon. Feel like they try to adjust that. Week 16 and 17, maybe. Yeah, there's no I mean, you don't have to necessarily stick with that. Hang on. I'll tell you.
So he's just looking at
Just
15.
defenses for 16 and 17
Okay.
for championship weeks, trying to get ahead of it.
All right, let me pull it up.
The Jets play Washington and Cleveland in 16-17. That's way up there. Yeah, and Miami plays Dallas and Baltimore in 16-17. So yeah, I'd probably sub that out. What was my other choice besides it was the Eagles? I don't feel that good about the Eagles typically. Where's my Eagles rankings? Here we go. Ooh, yeah, that's attractive. Eagles draw Giants and the Cardinals.
Not bad.
Would you rather do that, or would you rather do the Jets playing the Commanders in Cleveland?
I mean, probably the Eagles.
Or do you want to stay with Miami with bad matchups?
Well, I
really don't want to play Miami in Week 16 against Dallas.
Yeah,
it feels like a bad idea.
Trying to get this. Let's go 16. It's just 16 and 17?
Yeah, just 16 and 17.
All right, let's see here.
Because in Week 15, you would still play Miami because they're playing the Jets. But in 16 and 17, they play Dallas and Baltimore, so I would probably prefer to not do that. And the Jets in Week 16 and 17 play Washington and Cleveland. And then the Eagles have good matchups as well. So there's the Eagles play the Giants in Week 16 and Arizona in Week 17. Feel like I want to roll with the Jets, though.
Yeah, it's going to be the Jets.
Yeah. I'd rather go Jets. Yeah. Okay, you have so there's no way you're going to play Miami in Week 16. That would just be suicide.
I also like the Rams.
Rams isn't bad.
And
my pick is the Jets.
Yeah. And Packers.
Yeah, I want to go Jets here. As ugly as that is, but it's what I would do.
Okay.
All right.
Bing, bing.
Go ahead and do quarterback start of the week while I look something up.
All right. Well, it's going to be none other than Josh Dobbs, since he was named the starter playing against the Raiders. It looks like Crosby's going to be out, potentially. And if that's the case, not too worried about them pressure, his mobility, the fact that Justin Jefferson's coming back, just the fact that the Raiders are trash. Outside of that, I think them not being able to pressure Josh is going to make it a big issue for the Raiders as a defense. Really gives him a lot of opportunities. So I'm excited for him. I think he has a really good matchup, and kind of surprised at how low he was. But I think it's just the fact that people weren't sure if he was going to be named the starter or not. So,
okay, I had to look something up because now you're touching Jalen Warren 4-1 so far in this game. So it's literally 4x. And this is what I was afraid of with the Steelers. Deontay Johnson has 0 yards at the end of the first quarter. So
that's fine.
That's great. Mitch Trubisky is 1 for 3 for 4 yards, and he's the team's leading rusher. He's got 1 carry for 15 yards. So this is my concern with the Steelers, is that they suck, and Mitch Trubisky sucks. And the only viable part of the Patriots is their defense, and so far that's holding up. So there you go.
You know Tomlin's going to figure it out.
No, I don't know that. I genuinely do not know that. That is not something I know. So, yeah, looking good so far. Steelers looking like death. Can't say I'm shocked. This is why I was saying I don't really want to play anybody. Really don't want to play anybody. Look at this guy with his freaking bragging.
Every week,
this guy every week. I'm gonna start playing in 8-team leagues too.
I have Amon-Ra.
Barely higher. It's standard.
Barely higher.
I think I have that same way. Yeah, I have Amon-Ra as well. Like
both top 5 plays.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good one. Yeah, play Amon-Ra. Don't let last week scare you.
Hope that door doesn't hit you.
Can't make fun of Daniel too much. He'll stick his giant dog on me.
Dogs.
Yeah, dogs. Okay. Sorry. Continue on with the game we were playing.
You're up.
And
not the country, just you.
Yeah. So for me, it's actually interesting because we already answered this question in a roundabout way.
Oh.
With Minshew, right? Minshew versus Browning. But I actually want to take this time to talk about Jake Browning a little bit because Browning is much more available. Like Minshew is rostered at this point in a lot of leagues.
You did it.
And so what's more interesting here is the actual conversation around Jake Browning, who, if you're looking for a streamer, I'm not going to crown Jake Browning for the remainder of the year, but he showed me something a little bit, where he kind of, he only had 5 incompletions, 354 yards. They stopped running the stupid trick plays, and then look at that. So he is kind of starting to prove that the game's not too big for him. And they're playing the Colts. Colts is not a good defense. So that's an interesting one. If you're looking for help, Browning is an interesting one for this week. So if I'm looking for a guy,
if you're looking for upside,
still widely available, and there's a lot of upside on that.
Yeah.
Because the only other alternative is playing things that are likely rostered. Because like Dobbs would be interesting, but he's still rostered. Love would be interesting, but he's still rostered. Doesn't qualify for the game either. Minshew is too highly rostered, and I'm terrified of playing Baker Mayfield. So Jake Browning is the one that's like, if I had to play a guy that low, and I'm looking for help, and I'm looking for upside, that's who I'm looking for, is Jake Browning. Browning is to a point where after that performance that he put up last week, that he should be getting a long look in a lot, particularly in deeper formats where you might need help. So I am interested. It's got done enough to me to earn a roster spot, not somebody that I'm going to like just automatically start putting in lineups or anything, but worth a look. Pick one. Collins, Pittman, Ford, Moss. Yeah, Pittman.
Like I said, both of them are top 5 plays.
Pittman, not close. Wouldn't shock me if Pittman scored twice. Glad I'm not watching this game. Let's see. Also, because I had to play in a league you and I play in where you just aren't going to have better options, I had to play Warren. So I was like, oh, that's a 0. That's a straight up 0. Good thing I already got a playoff spot lock in that league because I ain't winning this game. I'm playing against that guy we know who has all the Cowboys. His whole team is just Cowboys. So it's like it's either going to be great because the Cowboys do great, or he's going to put up a lot of zeros. And right now the Cowboys are playing well, so it's like, okay, well, it's working now. We'll see if it pans out the rest of the year, but Okay. Running back. Oh no, sit of the week. Quarterback, sit of the week.
No surprise, it's going to be Lamar Jackson versus the Rams. Weather's going to be bad. They like to rush the ball for touchdowns. He's not really throwing a whole lot of touchdowns, and they lost Andrews. So a lot of the between the 20s is some passing, but it's a lot of run for that team, and they like
Yeah.
run. So, and this game is kind of made for it.
And for me, it's Brock Purdy. Not that I have anything bad to say about Brock Purdy per se, but it's a division game. That is not a good matchup. I know a lot of people are like, yes, it is. No, it's not. It's actually not. By every conceivable metric, the Seahawks are actually pretty tough against opposing quarterbacks. Now, let me get the exact number. So when they played the last time, he was QB 22. So the Seahawks are 14th against opposing quarterbacks, and it's a division game. So you're actually not. It's not a plus matchup for Purdy. I know people will look at it and be like, the Seahawks defense isn't the old Seahawks defense. I understand that. But they've actually been pretty good against opposing quarterbacks. He did not fare well against them the last time they played, and it is a division game. And the division game thing is not narrative based. That is empirical. Division games frequently are harder. So I know a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, how could you sit Brock Purdy?" It's like I'm not even necessarily saying you have to sit him. I'm just saying like I'm tempering my expectations. So there's a lot going on with that in the background. So I would not feel confident as normal, just rolling Purdy out there.
Yeah, he might
And then the
only
other
score
one
two
that is
touchdowns.
what's that?
He might only score 2 touchdowns.
No, he might actually not score any touchdowns, and Christian McCaffrey might do all the work, and then he has a 4. Or they just poo the bed because they did not do well the last time they played Seattle. That game has a tendency to go sideways. Let me find it. Yeah, he had 11 fantasy points the last time they played. Not great. So not a huge fan of rolling out Purdy this week. If I had other options, I would be interested in exploring them. And I know for some people that's going to be a spicy hot take, but I've defended it well. There's a lot of empirical data that suggests, including not just empirical data, literally what just happened. It's not a great matchup for Purdy. Go ahead and at me if you want. Yeah, me too. Welcome to it. Well, I didn't really have better options, but yeah, Warren. This is why I was saying Warren terrifies me because the whole team is bad. So you're literally counting on the idea that you're going to be catching dump offs from Mitch Trubisky. Yeah, you're talking to the wrong hombre about that. I've seen way too many Mitch Trubisky football games. Will Mitch Trubisky ever learn how to throw to his left? No. I'll save you some suspense. Let's see. Any worry with Stroud going forward? Someone dropped Fields in my 8-teamer.
Still prefer Stroud. Fields terrifies me.
It depends. Like you talking about like rest of season, I think.
Okay, which would be now.
I'm assuming rest of season is what this question is geared to. I will say I don't like Stroud so much this week.
He does have a pretty brutal,
really bad matchup this week. If you're asking me rest of season, I prefer Stroud to Fields. But if you're asking me about like Sunday, no, I'd probably rather play Fields because I really don't want to play Stroud. I know he's been on this incredible heater, but no Tank Dell against the Jets. The one thing the Jets do is play defense, and they're going to pin their ears back and try to rush the passer. So I do not really want to play Stroud this week if I could avoid it.
I think they're going to try and do it with 4, though. I don't think they're going to try and
I think they might be successful.
Yeah, I understand that, but they want to try and keep him in the pocket because he has less success when he's throwing from the pocket.
Yeah. So if it depends on what your question actually is, I would if you're asking me for a 1-week thing, yeah, I'd rather play Fields over Stroud. But if you're asking me rest of season, I still prefer Stroud. So it depends on how exactly you want my advice. Bad
Hunter Henry
idea.
touchdown.
Bad idea. Oh my God, the milk cartons worked. The where is Hunter Henry milk cartons that I had sent out worked. Oh my God. Have you seen me? Have you seen me? Yeah, we
Been
have.
missing
Right?
since what, week 3?
Yeah. Oh, that's rest of season. Hold on. Let's double check that. I definitely have Dallas lower this week than normal.
Yeah.
I have Dallas at 14. So it will depend on what your other options are that you could pick up. Like if you could pick up the Packers, for example, if that was something you might have missed your opportunity on that.
Yeah.
If you could pick up the Saints, I would rather do that. If you could pick up the Texans, I would rather
Yeah.
do that.
Really like the Texans this
If you
week.
could pick up the Lions, I would rather do that. Possibly the Vikings.
Yeah. Those are the ones I
So
have. Not my top
it's going to
12.
depend on what's available to you. You might have missed out on the Packers. All right. Oh my God. Oh, I just went cross-eyed. Okay. Standard pick 2. Hall, Ford, Swift.
Hall and Ford.
Swift and Ford. Wait, hold on.
Really?
Let me double check that. It's standard. I just realized
I
I'm
know,
doing that.
but
I
oh,
defaulted to
yeah.
standard. I defaulted to PPR.
Even then, man, the thing is, again, Hurts is getting that touchdown. That's what kills Swift.
No, what kills Swift is the fact that he needs to get all the running back work to matter. And if they're going to start putting Kenny Gainwell back in, the whole thing doesn't matter. It's all irrelevant. And yes, the lack of 1 yard touchdowns doesn't help. But what is more scary to me is the idea that like, ugh.
Well, it's standard.
Yeah,
That's
okay. I got Hall at 21. Yeah, Hall and Ford. Sorry, standard does change that. Hall and Ford. PPR. Set my lineup. That's why this is so long.
Yep.
Well, you're gonna play Achon, so that's RB1, and then I'm guessing Gibbs, probably.
Yes. Yes.
In PPR, I have Achane in the top 10.
Yep.
I have Gibbs at 16. I have Jacobs a little higher than that, so maybe we do play Jacobs. I have Ford outside of consideration. Chase, Ayuk, Pittman, Waddle, Puka.
It's gonna be Achane, Gibbs, Pittman, Chase, and Billy's a flex, right? And it's just so hard to sit Ayuk at this point.
Yeah, that's the problem here is that you're going to have somebody sitting out in this lineup that you would probably want to play. Yeah, my wide receivers are going to be Pittman for sure.
Yep.
And then, yeah. Yeah, it's PPR, so we're going to play 3 wide receivers in that case. And I'm going to play Pittman, Ayuk, and Chase for sure. And then it's 2 running backs. And for me, it's going to be Achane, and then you're just picking at running back. Jacobs.
Oh, okay. Wow. I have Gibbs higher, so
I don't care if you want to play Jacobs over Gibbs. That's fine. You can't really make that decision wrong. Honest to God, I could make the argument for Kyron too in there. I don't feel strongly about it. Like it's all probably pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'm not overly worried about that. You're picking between good options there. There's nobody I'm going to stand up and pound the table for.
Then I'm probably going to go Madison here, just because I'm nervous about Puka's health.
If Puka was playing, I'd rather play Puka.
He's going to... Oh, they're saying he's playing. I just
Yeah.
don't know how healthy he's going to be to do so against the Ravens. Also makes me more nervous on it.
I don't want to play Madison.
It's a good matchup, though.
I don't care. It's Madison. He's pissed away so many good matchups. It makes like it. I'm gonna do this. Is that PPR?
Yep. And then Purdy.
I mean, if you have to go all the way down to Russ, yeah, probably Purdy still, as much as I don't want to, because my alternative is really bad. Yeah, I'm playing Puka. Can't bring myself to play Madison. I have it in my flex rankings that way. All right. Olave, Puka, Ayuk, Walker, Moss. Pick one. Ayuk.
Yep. Barely.
Still gonna be Ayuk.
Just barely over Olave, though.
Are you asking flex rankings or are you asking respective positions? If you're asking me if I'm going to bench Swift to play Isaiah Likely, the answer is no.
Yeah. The answer is yes. And PPR, I guess. I should. If it's PPR, I'm going to go Likely here.
By position. Okay.
Okay. I currently have Likely at 7.
I have Swift at 19. That's more a function of how bad the running back position is. I have Likely at 9.
And I have Swift at 26.
William, wait. It's PPR. We keep bouncing back and forth.
It's Williams and Jacobs for me.
Yeah, Williams and Jacobs for sure.
Mostly because I'm nervous about Henry.
Yeah, Williams and Jacobs. All right, let's do running.
He's healthy, but I can't.
We got to speed up a little. Running back start of the week, please.
Jerome Ford versus the Jaguars. I just think the option's too good at this point. He's seeing enough of the usage. It didn't seem like they were really trusting Hunt like they should. We just saw Mixon tear up the Jaguars. I don't think that they can make the moves required to stop the run. And with this offense, it's going to be difficult to do because the Browns are actually pretty good at moving the ball right now. And with Flacco running the offense, it's been impressive, and I think Ford can easily score. Him not being ranked in the top 24, it's surprising to me.
Interesting.
Because he was like 28.
For me, it's Chuba Hubbard. I don't know if anybody's been paying attention, but Chuba Hubbard has officially murdered Miles Sanders and then buried him out in the desert somewhere. So the last 2 weeks, Hubbard is coming off of a combined 39 carries. And he's added to that 5 receptions. And that's insane. And he's scored 3 times. He has completely taken over that job. And we were a little concerned about what would happen after they fired the entire coaching staff. And yeah, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. He just went right back to it. So that's literally where we're at. Chuba Hubbard, it's shocking to me that he's not in the top 24 at this point, given how bad the running back position is this year. We covered that extensively on Tuesday. And thank you to everybody who tuned into making the cut this year. And next week, you'll notice that we'll have a third person with us again. We're going back to the old format. gonna have to work with Lance on his swearing. Uh, he's been bad.
Uh-oh.
But but yeah, that's the easy one. Chuba Hubbard is the easy one. If you want a different one, Keaton Mitchell. But we already covered the Keaton Mitchell argument twice in this show, where he's taken over the job apart from the red zone. So interesting animal, but not consistent enough yet to really, make me super thrilled about it. But Chuba Hubbard, my God, man, they're just Miles Sanders is done. What a waste of money that's looking like right now.
Yeah, I dropped him and picked up Ezekiel Elliott, and then forgot to put him into my lineup. So that's
nice.
Yeah, per usual. That's normally how it goes. I come on here and I forget about my lineup completely. So
yeah, the who's your sit of the week?
Already touched on it quite a bit. DeAndre Swift versus the Cowboys. Like I said, lack of touchdowns make me nervous. And the fact that over the past 4 weeks of actual gameplay for him, he's only broken 10 fantasy points once. Granted, it was a big game, but don't love the matchup for him. And I'm terrified because of how well Hurts is just running that offense and really moving the ball without really needing to use him at all.
Are they really moving the ball that well? Are they? Or is it all late game heroics and schlock? And then they finally got their pants pulled down and spanked last week. That's the concern that I have for that team long term, is that against bad teams, boy, they're just gonna
say the same thing about Dallas.
Well, we'll see how that goes. Dallas is on this crazy heater. For me, it's actually, this is an interesting one because it's tough because the running back position is so bad. You know what I mean? The running back position is just such a disaster this year that it's so hard to sit anyone with a pulse that might be capable of doing anything. Yeah, and it's like, but for me, it would be you might not have better options. You might have to roll this out, but it's Breece Hall, because Hall, especially if you're not playing in PPR. If you're not playing in PPR, Breece Hall has been a total disaster, and you should just stop playing him for a while. PPR, this gets a little harder, because in PPR, he's still putting up on average about 11 fantasy points. But the problem is there's no upside anymore. They're not scoring. They can't even move the ball. And what's fun is everybody made fun of rough trade Mr. Clean, aka Robert Saleh. Google
for
it.
Playing Wilson.
For playing Wilson. And then
we never did that. We never did that. We knew who the best quarterback on the team was.
But they went and proved a point and put everybody else out there, and it was infinitely worse. So it's just like, oh, got it. So they put Zach Wilson MILF Hunter back in the lineup for this week. Maybe that'll help. Maybe not. His confidence is shot. Like, looking like Sam Darnold seeing ghosts. Like, it's really bad. But there's no upside on Hall right now because he's hurt. Well, he's nicked up at least. He's not at 100%. And I get what's happening. Opposing defenses are bracket covering Garrett Wilson. So that's where the safety goes on every play. And then they're sending 8 in the box on every play as well. And you're going to beat me with somebody that isn't one of those two guys. And the Jets can't do it. Can't do it. They don't have anybody else capable.
Part of the reason I like Tyler Conklin.
Well, but that just makes Tyler Conklin gets a 7 or a 10. Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah. If he can actually
does nothing for anyone that matters. The reality of it is that you're talking about Hall. You might have to play him. And in PPR, you can still kind of get away with this as like an RB2 or a flex, because he's still going to put up 10 to 12 points for you. And if he scores, you're fine. The problem is that in anything that isn't that, in half point or in standard, it's not saleable. You can't play him. He's useless. That 5 to 7 points that he's averaging is killing you. You can't play him. So you got to find another option that isn't Breece Hall moving forward. So it sucks, I know, but it's just the way that it is right now. It's not his fault. It's not like Breece Hall didn't suddenly unlearn how to play football. He's in a really bad situation. It's kind of similar to Garrett Wilson, where it's like it just kind of feels bad. Where it's like just talented players completely being held back by bad O-line, poor coaching, bad quarterback play, really good defense.
Yeah.
Like
the Patriots.
Yeah, very similar to the Patriots. Godwin, Myers, Judy, Dobbs. Godwin, gross.
You have to pick two. I think it's Godwin and Dobbs, but it's still. You have to hope Godwin.
No, as someone who rosters Chris Godwin, that's why I'm shaking my head. Like, God, shoot me. Who's on the waiver wire, Daniel? What are my waiver wire choices? I hate all of this.
Oh my
God!
God!
I'm gonna have to go to my rankings. That's where that is. I can't even do that off the top of my head. It's gonna be Godwin. I hate it. Like
Henry with another touchdown, bro.
Who? Oh, Henry.
Henry.
Sure.
2 for 32.
After everybody, no, it's perfect. Everybody has given up. They've all cut him from their teams, and then he's gonna score twice. Remember when we said to not play Tyquan Thornton? Remember that conversation? Pepperidge Farm remembers.
God, 2 for 32 and a touch. So both of his catches have been for touchdowns.
Where do I have Myers ranked? Yeah, okay. Yeah, boy. Yep. Okay. Yeah, as of right now, I'm gonna play Godwin and Myers, and I hate it. And I would look at waiver wire.
Yikes.
What are you gonna play, Judy? Enjoy your 4.
Browning.
Ooh,
Flacco's interesting though. Probably Browning though.
Yeah, Browning. Where do I have Stafford ranked? Yeah, I don't want to play Stafford.
That's why I said Flacco. Flacco would be the other one that you might be looking at.
Browning. I'm just gonna play Browning.
Yeah.
That's too long of a timeline, dude. I've been doing this since like 2005. Yes, I'm old. Spare me. Like,
oh yeah, this is. I think they said it's been rough for at least injuries.
Then Browning. I don't know about top 3, but it's up there. It's up there. It's way up there.
I don't remember
bad.
there ever being this many injuries.
I'd have to go way back. I'd have to get back in the time machine because he's saying go back ever, and it's like, well, okay, like I could probably go back to like 08, 09 when it was really bad. Like there's been some bad years, but this one is like in recent memory. This is the worst one in the last like 5 years that I can like this has been bad. In the last 5 years, I'd say this is the worst season.
Yeah.
Pretty comfortably too, by the way. All time, well, my data goes back to like 05. And my reliable data goes back to like 09, so I'd have to go look. But I'd say if you're just asking me to do it from memory, in the last 5 years, this is the worst season. It's been bad. So I've been apologizing to people who are new to the game because you probably don't even want to play anymore. And I'm like, I won't even blame you. I don't want to play anymore. I've been doing this for a long time. Laporta, Ingram, Taysom.
Ingram.
Double Checking. Yeah. Yes, Ingram. All right. Anyway, wide receiver start of the week, please.
Again, keep touching on it.
Shut up, Daniel. This is why I appreciate you, though. Give me enough. He's been here long enough that he started giving me crap.
It's Elijah Moore versus the Vikings. Cooper, most likely out. Has a rapport with Flacco. It's the Viking secondary. I'm not worried about it. He saw enough targets last week. I think they're going to have to throw because I think it's just going to be very little defense on this. Browns are slowly getting better. We'll see if either Garrett or oh my gosh, I can't think of his name. Are better, actually able to play to help kind of prevent the run. We'll see how that goes and actually put some pressure on him. But even then, Flacco's getting it out. He's always been a pretty. There you go. Yeah, that's why I'd play more over those options.
Over his Godwin, Myers, Judy, Dobbs. Yeah, I'd probably do that too. Considering my other choices.
It'd probably be
really
Godwin
bad.
and Moore.
Probably Godwin and Moore because you got to play two. But that's likely where that would line up. Yeah, go pick up Moore.
Yeah.
It's mostly because I just don't think Amari Cooper is going to play.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. But also, we saw the connection with him and Flacco both coming from the Jets.
Okay, I double checked my rankings, by the way. That is how I have it. I'd be Godwin and Moore.
Yeah. I didn't have to. I know I have Godwin or Moore higher than a lot of people. So
yeah, clearly, I've got him as a flex, so it's not that insane. Alrighty.
You'd be starting him in a 2 wide receiver league for me. So top 24.
This week is rough for this little exercise, by the way, because a lot of the players that have good matchups have been underperforming. So, for example, Chris Godwin has a really good matchup. Hasn't mattered in a while. This is Chris Godwin's worst season in career, actually. This is Chris Godwin's worst season of his career. From the stats I did earlier in the year about how he has never finished outside of wide receiver 30 in his career. He's wide receiver 41 or something. It's terrible. He's having a terrible year. I cursed him, I know. So it's really tough because the other one that's another example of that is T. Higgins. Worst season of his career, right? And he's been hurt. And then his quarterback got hurt. And then he came back and they had 2 games together where they were both healthy. And then they both got hurt again. And it's stupid, crappy Bengals O-line. So you're literally all the guys that have good matchups have all been underperforming. So it's a tough one this week to find somebody that you'd want to play that really kind of floats your boat. But I did find somebody. And weirdly, I know it's kind of antithetical in certain ways, but it's JSN.
Yeah, I love that
because the 49ers are going to try and they're good enough to stop the Seahawks from just giving DK and Lockett the ball. And we saw JSN, we've seen it not just last week, but we've seen it over the year. He's kind of rounding into form. He's getting his pro legs here a little bit. And he's developing a little bit more rapport with Geno Smith.
He's also seeing more targets, which helps.
He is. And they're going to have to work the middle of the field. They're also going to have to throw. So JSN is a great flex this week. I'm very much interested in JSN as a flex. I think he could actually get into wide receiver 2 territory, but that's not a guarantee. But I would be very interested in playing him at my flex this week. He's very attractive in that way.
I have him.
They're not going to be devoting the 1 coverage to JSN. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, he's my wide receiver 27 right now.
That's not crazy. That's not crazy. A little higher than me, but it's not insane. But I 100%. He's out. They've got on the ECR JSN outside of flex territory, and I'm like, nah, that's wrong.
Yeah.
I would rather play him. I would rather play JSN over a bunch of guys that are currently being treated as flexes. For example, this question didn't come up, but if it was Oh, play Deontay or JSN. JSN. Like what was my other comp that I was talking to people about on Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley or JSN. JSN.
Yep.
And that's not even a question for me. Like, and in a lot of weeks that would be bad. That would be the reverse of that. You know what I mean? But if you were like, you would have to get all the way up to like Garrett Wilson for me to be looking at you like, maybe we play Garrett Wilson. You know what I mean? Like, but Garrett Wilson, I have like in the 20s.
Yep.
So it's not crazy to have JSN be that high.
JSN or DK Metcalf.
Yeah, that's tougher.
I have them back to back. Like I have them separated by like 3 spots.
That's tougher because DK is going to draw the higher coverage, but DK is also the superior player in like every conceivable way. So that's I have Goddard pretty low still. Talk to me on Sunday about this.
Yeah.
I saw he practiced in full today. That's good. I'd like to see him actually clear all the way. And then we will discuss this on Sunday. All right, Jason, we got to hurry up here. So let's move on into sit. Yeah.
Cooper Kupp versus the Ravens.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I don't understand why people are still ranking him so high.
Because his name is Cooper Kupp.
I understand that.
It says Cup on it.
It
says Cup on the jersey.
It's just it drives me insane.
If you're thinking about it harder than that, you've already thought about it too hard.
But it's the Ravens.
Have you met people? Have you met people? I've met people. I deal with them every day. That's the level of thought that went into that. I'm telling you right now. Like, that's it.
I guess. It's brutal. I get it. Okay, last week was
Are you
fun.
aware of the idea that they have to put instructions on shampoo?
Yes, but again,
see my point? Like that if you thought about it more than that, then you thought about it too hard.
Okay, since week 7, he hasn't scored over double digits until last week.
KUPP right here. If you thought about it more than that, you thought about it too hard. I'm not saying you're wrong, by the way. I don't disagree with you. You just asked the question, why is it not being adjusted properly? And I'm telling you what the real answer to that is.
But the data doesn't have him that high.
You've assumed people have looked at data. You've assumed people can read. Now we'll come to the part of the show that I call Neil's depressing facts. According to recent research by like the Pew Institute, like real peer-reviewed research, 54% of people in the United States read at an under a 6th grade reading level. This has been Neil's depressing facts. By the way, I don't doubt that just doing what I do for a living. I don't doubt that. I believe that. Shampoo has instructions. Okay? Like, I have more depressing facts. Would you like more depressing facts? I could keep going. Like, the eye roll that you had and then looking at the floor is the correct reaction, by the way, because you think about it and you're like, no, that can't possibly be true. And then you think about it for a second, like, no, that actually might be real.
Yeah, it's definitely real.
Because you just said the word data to me and I'm like, no, there was no data. No one read anything. Why do you think we stopped writing articles? I've had this conversation with you for years. We used to... Anthony, Daniel, Polo. You've been around long enough to remember. Remember when this website focused on written content? Do you know why we don't do that anymore? I have all the data in the world that explains why we don't do that anymore.
Yeah, considering what our biggest article for like 3 years running was an article that was written that first year about guillotine.
No, that's not true. Oh. That's not strictly speaking true. That's a misrepresentation of data. That's not the biggest article in 3 years. That was the one that was most surprising and got a real audience that shouldn't have. The most read ones in a 3-year period were player profiles. All of those were player profiles.
Huh. I thought for sure it was going to be the wide receiver quarterback matchups
that also did really well. But that was a picture. That was just a JPEG image that Mike Manning made and we put up on the website. That was it. There was no real reading involved. Like, That was just scan for the guy that you're looking for and then see where it rates on the table. There was no reading. I'm sorry. You were making a salient point about Cooper Kupp. Please continue. Go ahead.
But yes, since week 7, he only had one double-digit week. Came with him this past week, getting a touchdown against a not great defense. And now they play a really good defense who is also coming off a bye. So I would be extremely nervous to play really anybody not named Kyron Williams for the Rams.
Yeah, Kyron Williams is kind of the one Ram. I'm with you on that. You've heard me answer these questions all night tonight. Kyron Williams is kind of the one that I'm like, you're probably going to have to. It's less than ideal, but he's going to catch enough dump offs to matter. So it should be okay. Like it's literally the thought process there. And for me, it's Calvin Ridley. I've done this already with not a great matchup to begin with, by the way. So a bad matchup going into it. Christian Kirk not playing and is going to miss 8 weeks. Oh. So now I would imagine that they are going to bracket cover Ridley. He's going to get the safety and the one corner all game. And they're going to line up and say, beat me with Evan Ingram. So I love Evan Ingram, as we'll get into.
Jones.
Zay Jones is fine. That's fine. But Ridley's the one who suffers here.
Yeah.
And it was already pretty inconsistent to begin with. So I really don't want to play Ridley this week if I can avoid it. I have him outside of flex territory. And then if people are saying that was easy, you've already done that a couple times. Fine, I'll do another one. Adam Thielen. Shame.
Jonathan Mingo and Chuba Hubbard.
Chuba Hubbard more so, but it's Thielen. Thielen was never going to be able to keep that pace up that he was on, unfortunately. But the last 2 weeks for Thielen in what have been great matchups kind of falling apart here. And I think it's a factor of like he was never going to be able to stay at that pace. But Thielen's going to need to prove it to me. The only Panther I actually want to play is Hubbard at this point. And if we were playing in a different year, Hubbard still wouldn't matter. But because of what running back is this year, I was talking to Lance about this. Remember how at the start of this year, this was the year of the wide receiver. You can get running back value later. And you know how people only remember the last thing they just saw? Next year, it's going to be 12 running backs off the board. I swear to you, this is going to happen. We are going back to Neil's fantasy football, the old school. 12 running backs off the board. And, 11 running backs and Travis Kelce off the board. That's what we're doing. And if you think I'm wrong, I'm clipping this and we will play this for next year. This is going to get played. That is next year's first round. 12 running backs and freaking Kelce. And then receiver is going to be where everybody's going to be. Wait on receiver. It's a deep. And it's literally like I live in the freaking movie Groundhog Day. Like, it's like I feel like Bill Murray. I'm going to take the toaster and throw it in the bath later tonight and see if I wake up. Like, it's nuts. All right. Fields or Herbert?
Herbert.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, my God. After the freaking 7 he put up?
Palmer's potentially back, and that really changes it.
Potentially. I'm going to play Fields as much as I hate it against Detroit, who's been reeling. And Fields doesn't even have a good game. He just needs to run for 50 yards, and the rest of it will work itself out. And I think he can do it against the Lions. 80 would be better.
80, he might be all right.
80 would be better. Puka, Wilson,
yeah.
All right, tight end start of the week.
Gerald Everett versus the Broncos. Broncos are really bad against defending the tight end. Everett has a good matchup. Not surprisingly, I guess, Chargers are one of the top teams to target the tight end, and Everett is the one who is leading the team for tight end in targets. So good matchup, potential to score, always helps, but he's been putting up really consistent numbers since he's been back. So hard to get away from him.
Cade Otton. Cade Otton against Atlanta. Atlanta is dreadful against the tight end. And Mayfield is looking for him, and Godwin is still beat up, and there are a lack of good options, folks. And a real lack of good options. If Otten is not available, Tyler Conklin. Jason and I might actually agree on that.
Yep.
So basically, if you can't get Everett, go to Otten. Because I actually agree with you. I would do Everett over Otten. But if you can't get Everett, go to Otten. If Otten's not available, punt it to Conklin. And if none of that's available, Juwan Johnson probably, if he plays. Or Tanner Hudson, but I don't really like Tanner Hudson.
Hill, he's beat up, so people might not be wanting to do that.
Well, Hill is in the top 12, so.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's weird rankings this week. The top 12 is Kelsey, Laporta, Hawkinson, Kittle, Ferguson, Kincaid, Engram, Hill, Likely, Njoku, Komet, Pitts.
Pitts?
Yep.
That's okay. Sit of the week is Kyle Pitts.
So we're pivoting.
No.
We're mid-show pivoting.
Golly, that's brutal. Who? Okay.
It's the ECR. What do you want from me? It's 150 available people.
Yeah, but why is Kyle Pitts in the top 12?
You're
You
asking
just named
me
three
like
tight ends. Name
I
three
freaking
tight
work
ends that are scoring more than him.
Yeah, I didn't have it ranked that way. So, but no, yeah. So start of the week is pretty transactional. It's Everett, Otten, Conklin. I guarantee you one of those three will be available at least. Sit of the week, I agree, is actually Kyle Pitts. It's a total disaster. That's even a thing. And you know it's bad when he put up a 9 last week and managed to get back in the top 12. Fun fact, Kyle Pitts has played every game this season. He has 3 games of double-digit fantasy points. And has played them all. It's really bad. But that's cherry picking very aggressively. So do your real one, please. The one you had before Kyle. I told you Kyle Pitts was in the top 12.
It's going to be Jake Ferguson. It's really just the increased use of Shoemaker and the usage of Cook.
In that matchup against the terrible Philly secondary with their terrible linebackers that can't cover anyone.
I know. It's, again, the usage of Lamb, the usage of Cooks, the usage of Tolbert, and, of course, them actually running the ball has been...
I don't know about that one. I could never bring myself to sit Jake Ferguson in this matchup.
I get it.
You would need to have Evan Ingram on the bench. Like, for real. You would need to have Evan Ingram sitting there, and that'd be the only one below him that I'd be like, okay.
You probably do.
You might, but that's not boy. You would really need to, like, boo. I disagree. I disagree with this. I would not be doing that. Boy, that's rough, buddy. That's a 4-star matchup, man. I am not sitting Jake Ferguson this week. Of course, now that I've said all this, he'll get a 3 and it'll be the right call, but that's just the way life works. It's tough this week because you're just really struggling with good options because you've got McBride on a bye. And that's how thin tight end is. You remove one from the pool and it literally it dissolves like sugar in coffee. The one that I would say though that I'm most interested in having to sit off this list, not counting Kyle Pitts, is actually Taysom Hill. Just the injury stuff has me a little wigged out. Not thrilled about it. If he plays, because he's dealing with a foot and a hand.
Yeah.
He's literally hurt twice, and either one of those things could sideline you or flare up during the game. I'm not going to debate the merits of playing a guy against Carolina, right? That's paint by numbers. Like, we understand, but the problem is that he is just really beat to hell. And it's the downside of playing Carolina is that you could beat Carolina however you want. So this could be a huge Kamara game. You know what I mean? Anything is possible in that game. And with him being nicked up with both the foot and the hand, they might limit him. And just, if they don't need him, they just kind of let him get healthy because, believe it or not, as crappy as the Saints are, it's still a borderline playoff team. It says a lot more about their division than it does about the Saints. All right. Well, I hope this has been very helpful. And obviously, this is the last week of the regular season. So good luck to everybody in week 14. We will see you on Sunday for the final countdown. Jason, is there anything else you want to discuss before we get out of here? But we're getting to that time.
I mean, degenerates need to show up tomorrow. Support Mason Vishal.
It has been mostly about football, Daniel, and I apologize. We'll do better.
My bad.
We'll do better.
I also just realized that I actually had
I would play Ferguson over Komet comfortably, Anthony. I don't know what Jason's going to tell you, but I would play Ferguson over Komet.
I have Komet higher.
Yeah, that's
not much higher. I mean, they're both in the top 12, but
the bath salts problem in Kansas is outrageous. Like I
actually just realized that my anytime, I thought Zeke was anytime. It was actually first.
Oh, wow. Oh, that worked out. That worked out. That's not bad. All right.
So that's okay.
Anthony, we will have this conversation on Sunday, I'm sure. I have Ferguson as a top 5 play. Granted, it's 5, but still, like, it's a hell of a good matchup for Ferguson. And all he has to do, by the way, is catch a touchdown. Anything else you get past that is gravy with the Ferguson thing. And Komet, I get it. The volume should be there for him. He's been involved. And the Lions is an okay matchup. But I would rather play Ferguson.
I have him at 9.
Who?
So
which one?
Ferguson. Sorry.
Oh, okay. What do you have Komet as then?
6.
Oh, okay. I disagree with that. But that's okay.
It's tight end.
To a point, yeah. It is kind of that. That is kind of my reaction. Is it Kelsey? It's all chaos. It's all.
Even then, if it's Hawkinson, I'm a little curious on Hawkinson right now.
Well, and then there's the other one too, where it's like Kittle is actually somewhat interesting this week. I know it's been very boom or bust, but that's actually interesting this week because
that's who I have at 5.
They might need him. Like it might actually matter this week. So, now that I've said all this, he'll put up a 3. But oh wait, I have to play Kittle in a league. No, 0. Bench him. Bet it's going to be a 0. I actually really need Kittle this week. That's a 0. That's it's over. It's all over. Anyway, I appreciate everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. It's been a blast as always. And Daniel, I apologize. Tonight has been mainly about football. We'll do better, except for the long extended conversation around portable coffee bars and Restaurant Depot, which I think is fascinating that Jason has no idea what that is, what either of those things are.
To be fair, I don't drink coffee, so shouldn't surprise.
Oh, that's right. They don't have a portable Mountain Dew bar.
That I could get on board with. Like all the different flavors of Mountain Dew.
I think I'm just going to go start buying stock in people that manufacture insulin. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think that's the real answer is buy stock in companies that make insulin. Whoever does that, it seems like the right idea here. What would you want from a Mountain Dew bar? That doesn't even make any sense. What I just said is logically nonsense. Like it doesn't. What would the bar? Are you gonna make it fresh right there? It doesn't make any difference.
Well, what if it like you did Mountain Dew float with the different flavors that they have? Kind of like have the creamsicle kind of one.
The coffee bar idea and that is a totally different idea, but okay. Outside of the pop-up nature of it, that's a very different idea. Because you're talking about bringing in ice cream into this equation now. This is not the same thing.
Well, coffee bar, you have to have cream and sugar and what's those little whip thing? Foam that helps foam it.
Anthony, you got a headset? I'm gonna bring Anthony in here. Like, get your headset, Anthony. I'm gonna send you the link. Get on here. I need you for like 10 minutes. Like, you got a headset or a webcam? Like, I need help. I need an adult. Like, I need an adult to get on here, please.
I have plenty of Mountain Dew. It's fine.
I'm sure. Maybe I should just buy stock in Frito-Lay Corp. I mean, that's what you should do.
I already do.
Oh, did you actually have stock in Frito-Lay? I used to
And
play
Yum
golf
Brands.
with a guy. I actually used to play golf with a guy who owned a lot of Nike stock, and he uh, he used to explain to me he used to use his annual dividend to buy golf clubs. And so he's like, this is just the way I do it. Like, I'm just going to own stock in it. We get a dividend every year. And then I'm going to just buy golf clubs every couple years with the return that I get. Now I'm like, oh, it actually makes sense. That's actually, you got to pay taxes on it too. So,
Yeah.
but whatever. Like, you got to pay taxes on everything. So that made a lot of sense. So yeah, if you're going to do that, you might as well just own stock in Frito-Lay Corp. Just
Yeah.
pay yourself back out on the dividend.
It's Yum,
Yeah,
Frito,
Yum, sure. Yep, Yum Brands.
Apple, Nvidia.
Oh God, he's an Nvidia bro.
Well, to be fair, it was because my first computer had an Nvidia chip
I
in
want
it.
to point out that we do not give financial advice, and I am not a financial advisor. I'm a guy with a show, and I am not a fiduciary, nor do I give financial advice, nor do I guarantee any returns on anything.
I also own some Disney.
Sure.
It's what I really just liked growing up. I bought stock in now, like things I use regularly.
I own stock in like
Apple.
telcos and Lex, local exchange carriers, things like that.
Yeah, no.
So like I own a lot of that. So like, you know what Lumen is? Probably not. You
No.
know what CenturyLink is?
Yes.
Okay, so that's what Lumen is now. Lumen owns Quest, CenturyLink, and a bunch of other little local exchange carriers. And that is interesting if you look into it because they are not doing well. And so when it went and it completely hit the wall, I bought it. So that's that's a real idea. That's a real idea. You could serve Mountain Dew energy drinks, which is kind of an oxymoron, but I know that exists, like AMP and things like that.
Yeah, they actually have a few different types, including like a juice that isn't bad. So I'm trying to think what that's actually called because they were pretty good. I just felt like the sugar content was a little too high.
Oh yeah, is that the guy who drinks all the Mountain Dew? Gotta get that high.
Well, it was because it was called
you
Mountain
start
Dew
shaking.
Energy. Like, was the actual name of it? They had like cherry lime and blueberry, or no, it wasn't blueberry. It was pomegranate.
But yes, I always forget Jason doesn't know anything about coffee because he doesn't drink coffee. He has no idea about the trendy coffee pop-up bars. Whereas Anthony, if I don't have at least 2 cups of coffee in the morning, uh, screw that whole day. That whole day is garbage. That whole day, like, screw it. I'm going back to bed. Like, if there's no coffee, nah, we ain't working. Like, that's not happening. But like, my old roommate does the same thing, Jason, where he used to drink Mountain Dew first thing in the morning, and just that click of that can first thing in the morning, it's like nails on a chalkboard to me. Oh, it's awful.
Best sound in the world.
It makes me nauseous. Like that click, that clicking noise before like 1:00 in the afternoon. That is horrible. It like turns my stomach. I'll see you in dialysis. I'm gonna go buy a bunch of shares of Fresenius. So it seems like a growth industry to me. You people are nuts. But no, I drink like you would think I'm disgusting because I drink black coffee. Black. Nothing in it. Get that crap
Like
out of here. I want that half and half. No sugar, no sweet and low. Black coffee. Black. Darker the better. Actually, I've said that wrong. The lighter the better because there's more caffeine in that. So yeah. Anthony knows what's up. Anthony knows what I'm talking about. And see, that's the thing. I used to go to Starbucks with people before, and I hate Starbucks. It's disgusting. It's burnt. It's always burnt. But I would get like just normal coffee. And the thing that freaks me out is the people that go in there and get like a double freaking frappuccino. The order is like a paragraph. And I'm like, that's just a milkshake. Like that's just
it tastes like coffee.
That's like a 7 a.m. milkshake. It doesn't taste like coffee.
It does.
It tastes like milkshake. It tastes like sugar.
I can taste no.
You can. How could you taste that?
Because I tried to drink coffee. I had a double chocolate chip frappuccino.
That is not coffee.
And it was gross because I could still taste
it is gross, but for very different reasons than what you're saying. Like you're nuts. Like you could taste the coffee in that. That's just that's gross, man. Anthony, help me. I'm losing my will to live. Is that better, Daniel? Is this better? We could do this show. Like I could do this show for another hour. It's all personal preference. I understand. Everybody's taste buds are different, but like I cannot. We had this conversation recently. A buddy of mine, me and my buddy Corey, were having this conversation against a few of my other friends, where it's a pitch. It's literally an argument where he and I are on Team Coffee and everybody else is on like Team Energy Drink or Team Mountain Dew first thing in the morning, and I'm like, God, no. Oh, gross.
Delicious.
Gross. Oh, Daniel knows. It's called Kickstart.
Yeah, that's what it.
Oh, I can feel my stomach turning. Like just
that's the one that has the juice. It's more of, but the Mountain Dew Energy is like supposed to be the morning one because it has energy. Allegedly.
Y'all are crazy. That's right. That's right. That's what we'll do. That's a great idea. But yeah, anyway, folks, enjoy the second half of the game. Good luck. We will see you on Sunday. Tune in Friday for Locked In. Get all your occasionally an Americano. Occasionally.
No idea what that is.
So do I. The order is simple. There's only one right order. Coffee, black. Hand it to me. And I'm coming back for a refill. Maybe if it's freezing cold, maybe, and it's made fresh, maybe if it's freezing cold outside and it's made fresh, I will accept a pumpkin spice latte with easy on the sugar, please. And I'll have half of one. I want a little baby one. If it's freezing cold, if it's made fresh and not at Starbucks, I am fine with an Americano. If you want to give me an Americano, I will happily drink that. And then the other one that I used to get when I was in college, and this is a little bit of a grasshopper with 3 espresso shots. Yes, you will literally fucking see. I did it. I knew you will be able to see through time. You will literally be able to see through time. It's like that episode of Futurama where Fry drinks 300 cups of coffee and he literally speeds up. Yeah, it's a grasshopper with 3 espresso shots. You will literally be vibrating. Like you will literally like you will normal people should not drink that. That is what I used to drink, Anthony, when I was in college. When we would have to we would get like a couple hours sleep because or no sleep, you literally pull an all-nighter. That's what I used to have at the coffee bar at the University of Dayton, business, because the business school had its own coffee bar because they knew what their audience. That was a good idea. That was a good idea. And so they would have that thing would open at 5 a.m. So we would be in there trying to study, but last minute, after staying up all night, I would have a couple of those. You'd just be sitting there.
Can't hear you, bro. Mike's completely gone. But yeah,
there's nothing I can do about that. It just doesn't. No, what I was saying is, you would have a couple of those. You'd be sweating, you just you could be shaking. Gotta keep it together. Gotta get through the test. But yeah. Anyway, now we are leaving for real. Enjoy Friday. Tune in for Locked In. Tune in with Mason and Vishal. Sign up for the Discord. Follow us on there. Good luck this weekend for the final thing, and then tune in obviously for last minute questions, final countdown, because those are going to be very important. Anyway, folks, enjoy the second half. We will see y'all. Well, Jason will see you Monday, and then myself and Lance and Jason, we will see you on Thursday. So tune in for that. Be nice to Lance, or don't. Do what you want.
Sweet.
See you Sunday. Have a good one.